Well, here we go on the reading list explained. So actually, I'm going to kind of explain lesson 9 and lesson 10 this time because they kind of work together. So we are going to, of course, jump into Maverick pedagogy Maverick learning styles. So I've given you some overall readings to do to kind of situate this a little bit. So project based, I'm just going to go here. Project based lesson creation. This one is going to give you a really nice overview of what a project based learning lesson looks like and how to some of its pros and cons and how to assess it, which I think is always a big deal. Lots of these maverick ideas that we're talking about and we'll be talking about over the next couple of weeks uh, um, are really based in project-based learning. Okay, so here's a nice little definition, and then it gives you sort of an overview of how she set up a really authentic project-based learning concept. Okay, so it's worth the read through that one. I've put this University of Toronto resource for cross-curricular thematic units, and I just said peruse the document because I think what it does is it gives you some real live examples of what do these collaborative lessons look like, especially in our K to 2 area. Lots of these things that we're going to look at will seem to fit better into upper elementary, but here's a whole bunch of great ideas. And here's Adriana, kindergarten, Deerview, Alberta. So this is one that we're actually going to look at together. But I think this whole document just gives you an idea of how you can be a little bit more creative, but also always, hang on here, I'm going to get to the across the curriculum. And yes, so here are ideas from the actual curriculum guide in so that you can actually really feel confident that you are fulfilling these curricular outcomes. So again, that is worth definitely perusing. It's 153 pages. You don't have to read it all, but peruse it just so you know hang on, I'm just going to flip to the top. Try not to get sick on me here. Ooh, even just have a look through the table of contents so you kind of know what's in there, because you may end up wanting to use one of these as a starter for one of your units in your practicum. Okay, puppetry. We're going to dive deep into puppetry, which is why I have asked you to actually bring a physical puppet with you on Monday, November 1st, because we're going to actually sort of dive into puppetry. We're going to actually create a little bit of a puppet show. So do bring a puppet, an actual physical puppet with you. If you don't have a puppet, there are puppets in the library in the curriculum section, so you could go there, or literally just bring a paper bag or a clean sock, not a dirty sock, a clean sock, something you could actually just put on your hand to even mime it. So don't go out and buy a puppet, but bring something with you so that you can actually we can actually do a puppet show together. Again, this is a nice little Edutopia article about 6 reasons why puppets will change your classroom forever. Again, have a cruise through. It's not long. And again, we're starting to see all these things: design thinking, growth mindset, shareable media, puppet as co-teacher, writing with a puppet. Right? It's all these things that we're talking about around Maverick learning. Okay, Makerspace. This is one of my other favorite. Angela Stockman is again, I love her ideas, I love her stuff. And so again, sorry, fire starters, making to ignite critical thinking in the writing workshop. So again, she just have a read through this, but basically she brings in material and then she gives them a prompt. How might you use the materials in this bucket to build a place where an alien might spend time? And what she says is this really actually helps those kids who find writing to be tricky to start, because then they actually create something and then they write about it. Again, making the writing real for these students. So again, have a cruise through this because it's a really amazing way to think about supporting reading and writing in the classroom. Again, this is Betsy Potash, and again, one of my favorite bloggers and podcasters about again, sort of maverick ideas. Sorry, flip to the top here. And this is how to host a literary food truck festival. So basically, what you get the kids to do is, instead of writing, a book report or filling out paragraphs or worksheets, they actually create a literary food truck, like an actual food truck, and then they put on all the things that you want them to figure out from the book. So like character, plot analysis, the climax of the story, the denouement, and they actually write it out, but they put it in a food truck format. So again, some maverick ideas, getting kids excited, making learning joyful. So have a cruise through that, so you can see what this is, as well as maybe how to have a little festival of all your food trucks around the class. How fun is that? Oral storytelling, we dove into a little bit last week, so if you feel like you could go to the Moth and have a look at that, but we looked at that last week. What I want to do is take you into this Learn Alberta site, because this is an excellent site to bring in our Indigenous colleagues, the point of view of the importance of oral tradition in the Indigenous culture. So if you go to this site, go to oral tradition, and then you can really kind of go through any of these. So I just started beginning together, and then it gives you some background into why the oral story tradition is so important in Indigenous culture. And then it gives you a little bit of a here's a teacher. She brought a few types of stories to her class. One of her First Nation students mentioned their stories are told differently, and she wanted to learn more about oral tradition. So again, just a little bit of information. And then actually you can get into actually having a recording of an Indigenous elder or an Indigenous oral storyteller actually telling the story. So you can kind of start to bring in the Indigenous perspective on oral storytelling into your classroom by using this. This is a great resource. It's again a Learn Alberta. It's a Learn Alberta resource, so connected to our curriculum. Okay, this section if you don't have time this week, I would save this. I'm going to jump into this next week. So November 8th, I'm going to look at it. So if you want to leave this for next week, feel free to leave that for next week. However, I have brought this one into lesson 9. So I explained this in one of the videos that's on your YouTube collection for lesson 9. And so what you're going to do is pick one, create an example, and share with colleagues. And I've explained it much more in detail in the video. So you don't have to read through all of these. If you really want to, you're most welcome to, but you don't have to. Basically, you're going to pick one, and then you will jigsaw and learn about all of them from your colleagues. So that's why I kind of have combined the reading list for this week. So for this week, focus on number 1 through 4 here. 5 we'll dive into next week, and then this one again is just pick one and go with that. You are most welcome to look at all of them, but that is not a requirement for the lesson. Awesome. Take care.